Hey, and welcome to Teags Talks. I'm Tegan, a wellness enthusiast, conscious creator, and life learner, where we talk all things well-being, spirituality, lifestyle, and mindset. I give you an inside look at my brain, my habits, and the life I live, so together we can live our dream lives. Here we are a community of loving souls wanting to live incredible lives and feel wildly good doing it. Join me every week as I download the next potty of goodness. Hello, my lovely souls, and welcome back to the podcast. I'm Teags, your host, and today we are going to talk all about the beginning of meditation, how to meditate, where to start, why we meditate, and all of the foundations that you need if you are new to meditating, thinking about meditating, or you're sort of realizing that you need something for your mind. This is for you. So buckle in, get cozy, and get ready to really feel ignited to start meditating. Thank you so much for choosing to have me in your ears today. I truly appreciate it. I am back on YouTube. Hopefully this one all goes well. I tell you what, the back-end technological thing, I have mentioned this before, but I am such a dinosaur that the technology stuff really it takes me a lot of time to make these things happen. So I really appreciate any likes, any comments, just honestly, you just tuning in. I really appreciate, because a lot of time and effort goes behind these things. If you've started to meditate, you've tried a guided meditation, maybe you thought it wasn't for you, maybe you want to really start taking care of your mind. Today we're going to talk about basically just the foundations of meditation, why we meditate, what actually goes on, but the actual how to meditate. And then at the end, we're going to do a guided meditation as well. So if you don't have time now, like if you're on a walk or a drive or something and you don't have time to meditate, it's okay. The meditation is at the end and you can just come back to it, whether it's in the evening for an evening or afternoon meditation, or you can do it again in the morning, or honestly come back to it whenever you want. Let's start with some breath work just to get nice and grounded. Then we're going to do the intention, a life update, and then dive into today's topic. So let's do Nadi Shodhana. Now, if you're driving or walking, this might be a little bit difficult, but you can also do the pranayama without using your hand. You can just do it by focusing your attention on each nostril. So Nadi Shodhana is basically an energy cleansing, balancing pranayama. So the left and the right side of the nostrils in yogic philosophy resemble masculine and feminine. And that's the same with the brain. The left side and the right side are also correlating to masculine and feminine. So when we do Nadi Shodhana, and you can do predominantly the feminine breath or the masculine breath, but today we're just going to balance both because it's just a very balancing and grounding pranayama. So what you do, and if you're following on YouTube, you'll see what's happening. But if you're on podcast, what you're going to do is you're going to place your thumb over one of your nostrils and then your ring finger on your other nostril. And we're just going to keep them open for now. So you can either bend your pointer finger and your middle finger down, or I personally really like to put it on my third eye just to kind of activate that area. But for the video, I'm actually just going to bend my index and my pointer finger. So you guys also at home on the podcast can do the same. So you're just going to hover your thumb over your nostril and your ring finger on your other nostril, and your pinky is free. So we're all going to take a deep breath in through the nostrils and a deep breath out through both nostrils. Now with the thumb, cover the right nostril, inhale left. Cover the left, exhale right nostril. Inhale right nostril. Exhale left nostril. Inhale left nostril. Exhale right. Inhale right. Exhale left. Last round, inhale. Exhale right. So hopefully you feel nice and grounded and balanced, and just now you can move through your day with your masculine and your feminine energies balancing. And no matter whether you're a man or a woman or whatever you identify as, we all have the masculine and the feminine within us. So the masculine is like the logical, the doing, and the feminine is like the creative, the playing. So we want them to mesh together for the day, so then we can move through our day and, we can get things done, but we can also play and have fun. So that was Nadi Shodana. This week's intention is going to be checking in with our nervous system, which obviously correlates with meditating. And as we go through today's topic, you'll understand why we meditate and how it correlates with our nervous system. So this week's intention, just when you think about it, check in with how your nervous system is feeling. Now, if you're new and you're sort of thinking, how on earth do I check in with my nervous system? Basically, your nervous system is, how you're feeling things. So if you check in now with your nervous system, you close your eyes, you can always put your hand on your heart, because that's a very heart-led, intuitive way to guide where your thoughts are going. You can just check in with how you're feeling. So right now I feel really grounded, but maybe you're feeling anxious or worried or stressed or overwhelmed or sad or angry or bitter or whatever the emotion is that you're feeling. It's just a little check-in. We don't have to make anything of it. We don't have to, make our day go down that path. It's just a little mental check-in to check in with how your nervous system is feeling, because sometimes we just go through day by day, moment by moment, and, we're just surviving and we're not thriving. So it's a good little check-in to do. Okay, little life update. I'm back from New Zealand. I've been settling in for the week. It's been so nice to be back onto my rituals and just doing everything that I normally do. So that's been feeling really nice. We went surfing when we got home up at Double Island. And if you've been up to Double Island in this last week, the water, the sand and everything has shifted. And we went up and the waves weren't amazing, but there was literally there was one guy out on one day and I think 4 others on the other day. So it's just really nice, honestly, to surf on the East Coast with not too many people. And like I was saying, the sand and the water has shifted. So there's it's not like a rip, but it's like this current where it's almost like where 2 currents are kind of meeting, and it feels a bit rippish. Anyway, at Double Island, the waves, they go for quite a distance. Anyway, so I ended up in this whirlpool. It took me forever to get back out. Honestly, it took me 20 minutes. And then I eventually got to the sand and my whole body felt exhausted by just paddling, because this current, I could have paddled back out, but then I would have been paddling back out to sea. And my brain at that time, being so exhausted, already having surfed for a couple of hours, I was like, just get me to shore. And I should know better. I should have just gone around, up and back, but I didn't. Anyway, so I got stuck for 20 minutes paddling. And so by the time I got out of the water, I was exhausted. My shoulders felt like they're going to fall off. I was just exhausted. And then the next day I was like, right, I'm not going down near that section. Anyway, so I caught a wave from out the back and I caught it to almost that point, but I was like, I'm not going there. So I stopped and jumped off the wave. And then I'm paddling back out and I'm not going through the current. I'm going all the way back out and around. It's taking me forever, but I'm determined. Anyway, this big wave comes and it's an 8-foot board, so I turtle roll. The wave took me and the board, and then I just feel this massive release on my ankle and my leggy broke. So then my board flies down to where this massive current rip thing is. It goes over that current, another wave takes it and it flies in the air and it goes past. So then I'm in the current without a board. And on the board, it was fine. I was a bit stressed, but I'm on my board, it's fine. I can just stop paddling and I'll just float, whatever. This time I was stuck in the current without a board and I was exhausted and I obviously couldn't touch the ground. And Zach and this one other person were all the way out the back. I could not even see them. So I'm just floating there and I tried to get my board, but the board like just kept going. And then I'm fully in this current. And I'm like thinking to myself, like I started to get quite stressed. I'm like, what on earth am I going to do? Like, can one of those guys just catch a wave down so I can like wave? And then I'm thinking, do I keep going to go get my board? Like, I'm just exhausted at this point, stuck in this current, just getting waves on the head in this current. It was super weird. And then finally I see this like black shadow riding the wave, as in like a human, not a shark. I see like someone on a wave and I literally get as much as my body out and like wave my arms in the air. And then so this person rides down and I just was thinking it was Zach. Because at this point, I've been gone for a while. So I was thinking, surely Zach's going to come and find me because yesterday I got stuck in. Maybe he'll click on. Anyway, it was this other guy. So I like wave him down and trying to say, I don't have my board, my leggy snapped. And he's like, oh, good. Because actually, as I got in the water and caught my first wave, he lost his board. So I got his board and paddled his board back out to him. So it's quite funny. So then now he was going to go rescue my board, but then he had to go into the current to get my board. Anyway, he got my board. Then eventually I sort of washed up onto a sandbank and held on for dear life with my toes. I was trying to grip on with dear life and like just stay on the sandbank. And I was exhausted by this point, like just trying to like obviously swim, but like getting smashed by waves in this current. Then eventually I like made my way out. The guy also finally made his way out with my board. And I was so grateful that he made the effort to go and like get this board. Anyway, it was such a schmozzle and I was actually quite like, I laugh now, but I was just so exhausted and not traumatized, but like traumatized. I could not go back out into the water. I just had nothing left in me. And yeah, my nervous system was cooked. So I haven't surfed since then. So I definitely need to go back out and get another wave. But wow. Anyway, surfing hasn't been amazing this week. So that's fine. I thought I should share that because I very rarely even share surfing highlights. But I'm like, you know, I've got to share the ups and downs because we are real here and I don't want to always share the highlight reel because it's not real, it's not life, and that's not what I'm here for. I've also been back and like really consistent in the gym after New Zealand. Before we went to New Zealand, I was sick, and then in New Zealand, still quite sick. So I didn't exercise properly for a couple of weeks. So it's feeling really good to be back into it. And yeah, just noticing my body change and just getting stronger. And yeah, it's feeling really good. I also had a photo shoot this week with a friend. She took some photos for me because I have my new release of Learn to Meditate. And if you have been listening to the podcast or on Instagram for a while, you know that I've been building it and creating it. And again, the technology side of things is taking a while. The course is there ready to go, but it's literally the website things and all the links and buttons and stuff. So bear with me, it's still coming. If you do want to join Learn to Meditate, just message me on Instagram and I'll add you to the list to message when it comes out so you get the early bird price and all of the things. So we did a photo shoot and it was so much fun. I'm so fine being in front of the camera like this, like I film and I set it up and like on Instagram as well. Like I'm so fine being on camera, but it's like when someone else is taking the photo, like I have the vision, but like I need it, like I need my body to do the thing that I want it to do and for the right concept to come through. Anyway, so I had my friend Nicole come and help me and it was so fun. Like once we finally warmed up and figured out what worked well, it was actually so fun. We did it in Noosa and it was actually quite an overcast day. So the photos are quite moody, which I kind of really like. It was super cold. I ended up getting in the water and yeah, you'll see the photos if you've been on my website recently, there's a few photos on there. So yeah, that was really fun. I just love that type of stuff. It's just fun and I love being creative in that sense, like getting the mood board, setting the day up, and then like doing the poses and the editing. And I love taking photos as well. So yeah, that was really fun. I hope you have had a beautiful week and you're feeling aligned and motivated and inspired. And if not, that's okay. You can just take some action today to do that. So let's dive into today's topic. Let's learn how to meditate. So let's first start with what actually happens when we meditate. When we take a moment of stillness, quietness, we are able to de-excite your nervous system and come into balance. When we de-excite our nervous system, we're then able to process those stuck, unconscious, unprocessed thoughts within our subconscious, in our psyche. Right, so when we're silent and we're not being stimulated by this very stimulating world, we're able to come in and rest and digest. Because mostly in life, we're in fight and flight. We're definitely these days spend a lot more time in fight and flight. But in rest and digest, we're actually able to rest, recover, digest food, but also digest life. And my Vedic meditation teacher, Laura Poole, she says that when we are meditating, we are digesting or processing unprocessed, undigested life experiences. So if you think about from the ages of 0 to 4, we have already become aware of our being. We know who we are and what we are in the world and where we stand from 0 to 4. Now, that might seem a little bit wild, but it's what happens. Then from 0 to 4 and onwards, you're molded, you're conditioned, you go through experiences, traumas, great things, and this molds us to who we are. So we have a conditioned self, right? And this is where I speak about limiting beliefs and stories that we tell ourselves and those conditioned thoughts. So we become this version of ourselves that is conditioned, and it's built from everything that happened from 0 to 4. Definitely to 7 is where a lot of our stories and beliefs come from, and then onwards, because obviously we continue to experience life and to create stories from experiences that have happened to us. And when we go through life, we go through the traumas, the tough times, the sadness, the anger, but we also go through the laughter, the joy, the happiness, the contentness, the alignedness. So life is this experiment that we're all going through, and it is conditioning how we are. The person you are now is an embodiment of all of your past experiences, all of your past conditionings, and everything that happened from 0 to 4 on to 7, if we're being generous, 14, and then of course onwards. So everything has shaped you for who you are. And this is inevitable. It's inevitable to be conditioned unless you grew up in a very conscious family that was allowing you to be fully yourself, loved you in your fullest expression, and encouraging these things and this growth. But I would say majority of us didn't grow up like that. And there is absolutely no shame in that. We have all come here to live out a story, and this is it. And that's beautiful. And it doesn't matter how you were brought up. It's what you do from now on that matters, right? Because that's all you have. So what meditation does when you're sat there in your stillness and your quietness, it allows you to process these things, right? It helps you release, so you're able to surrender. Now, if anyone here has ever meditated, you will know that feeling that when you're meditating and you know it's a 10-minute meditation, maybe it's a guided 10-minute meditation, and you know that you're sat there and you've only just closed your eyes and you've probably got 9 minutes and 58 seconds to go, and you're already thinking you don't want to sit there. That's where the surrender piece comes in. We have to surrender to our mind and what's going on there to continue going through the practice to actually reap the benefits. So we're surrendering. We're also digesting. So that's those unprocessed, unconscious life experiences. You're also allowing your system to digest and move things through properly. And you're really able to come into this acceptance. And this is probably one of the biggest things that I have learned. Just the acceptance of everything that is occurring is perfect as it is. And it's okay for everything that's happened, you can move through, you can surrender, you can process. There's so much that we can do from just accepting. And when you're sitting in meditation, often people think that it's this serene stillness, bliss. You feel like you're levitating, you're like becoming a monk. And honestly, that's just not the case. Can you have meditations like that? Yes, absolutely. You can have those really blissful meditations where you just feel so relaxed and light and you just feel like a light of love. Absolutely, they can happen. Now, does that happen all the time? No. And does it happen majority of the time? Probably not. I'd say it's minority. Because we live in a fast-paced, overstimulating world, and we are here to move through quite a lot. So the other alternate experience is that, yeah, we sit there and things feel uncomfortable. Like I was saying about the time might be moving really, really slow. And generally when time is moving slow, it means you have a lot to process. Like if you've closed your eyes and you're already thinking, I don't want to do 10 minutes, not even like, how am I going to sit here for 20 minutes? If you're in that sort of frame of mind, it means there's probably something you need to work through, process, digest, accept, surrender to. So that means that's a calling for you to definitely sit there and to go through it. So know that you'll have two experiences. Yep, you're going to feel light, beautiful, clear, inspired after your meditation, but you might also feel after, but during as well. But during your meditation experience, it could be feeling annoyed, irritated, like you just want to finish. Maybe it's feeling really slow. So there's those two types of experiences, right? And you will ebb and flow through both. You might have a whole week of feeling amazing, and then you might have a month of just having it really tough. I'm just here to warn you that those things will happen as you go through life. And then if time is moving really fast, if your timer or your guided meditation goes off really quickly, it just means you were really surrendering, really accepting, and allowing the process to move through you. So your mind creates your physical body. If you are feeling stressed and overwhelmed, then you'll see this in your body in either anxiety or that overwhelm, or you might even then start creating dis-ease and illness within the body, like heart attacks, those types of things. Then on the other side, if your mind is feeling calm and grounded, then you'll feel that within your body. You'll be feeling grounded, you'll be healthy, you'll appear glowing, and you'll be able to experience happiness. So meditation allows your body to be in a state of health. And what happens, and I really liked how my Vedic meditation teacher was speaking to the fact that our mind and body are often actually not succinct. Like we were speaking to the fact that our mind is always running a million miles. It's already ahead of the race, right? But our body is like back here still trying to catch up. Like our nervous system needs to be balanced, but our mind is like going off and it's like trying to catch up all the time. And that's why we might feel wired but tired. Like we're doing so much and our body is like so exhausted it just can't catch up. And then what meditation does, it brings everything back into its equilibrium so it can sync together and they can come back together and work in harmony. Now, I first found meditation, and if you listen to the podcast or if you know me, you've heard the story a few times, but I first found meditation when I was quite young. I was a very, very angry and upset young child. I was really, really angry at the world, the medical system, and the church I was going to. I was really, really angry as a kid. Now, this was 9-year-old Tegan, right? Like, don't take offense to the medical system or any church. This was like, I've come a long way from being that 9-year-old Tegan. And at the time, I was just so frustrated and just deeply sad. And as a 9-year-old, I just didn't know how to process that. And I went to therapy, and I still can imagine the feeling that I had going to therapy. I absolutely hated it, despised it, would rather do absolutely anything else. But my parents knew that that was something that I needed. And again, not to say that therapy isn't the right way. This was 9-year-old Tegan. Like, we've come a long way. And I'm not saying therapy isn't the way. It absolutely is the way. Am I saying doctors aren't the way? No, church, like, do your thing. This is 9-year-old Tegan's experience. So at 9, I was going through this traumatic experience. Then I can't remember how many years later, but a couple of years later, or maybe even a year later, I went to the town library. I found a book on Buddhism, and from there, I started practicing what I thought was meditation and called myself a Buddhist. And this was 9-year-old Tegan. I did that for years, and no, I did not meditate every day of my life from the age of 9. Would that have helped me become a different person? Absolutely. But we all know life takes us on our journey as we need to create us and show us who we're here to be in the world. Now, I can't even remember what was in the book. Like, I remember seeing this paragraph and it made sense to that situation that I was going through. So that made so much more sense to me than what any doctor, priest, family member, therapist had said to me. I just resonated with it, right? It's the same for any religion. We all relate to one more than the other. And that is purely because your soul is here to transcend through that, or for it to support you. None of it is wrong or right. None of them are more perfect than the other. It's whatever you feel aligned to move towards. Now, like I said, I was practicing meditation from literally what a book was saying. I don't even remember what the book said. And all I knew at this point was to sit in stillness. And that is what I would do. I'd light a candle, I'd sit in stillness, and I'd do it honestly until I felt good. I couldn't even tell you how long I was doing it for. Then as life went on, I just honestly practiced my own meditation. I still knew nothing about it. I just knew that if I sit in stillness, I feel calmer, I get answers, and I feel better. That is honestly all I knew. I knew nothing about it. I knew no science. I hadn't had a course. I hadn't read another book till years later, till literally probably the last 10 years. I started reading yogic philosophies, meditations, doing courses. Literally, I practiced for so many years with no experience, no knowledge. I just sit in silence. I also didn't know what my nervous system was feeling. I didn't know that I had unprocessed life experiences that needed digesting. I didn't know that it was a way to connect with your intuition. Like, I didn't know any of this. I just knew deep within me, intuitively, to do it, to make me a better person, because I knew as a 9-year-old it wasn't normal to be that angry, but I was so angry, so resentful, so bitter, like pissed off would be the best way to describe it, that I knew silence in stillness alone was the best way for me. And the therapist didn't tell me to do that. The doctor, the church, no one told me to do it. I literally found it from a town library in a Buddhist book. How's that for aligned action? I think when I first told this story like a few years ago to someone, they were like, wow, that is such an intuitive 9-year-old. I'm like, you're right, that is. And if only I used that intuition through my whole life, I'd probably be in a different scenario. But also, this is perfect and I love where I'm at. So yeah, over the years, I just practiced sitting in silence. And then in 2018 or something, I found an app which I really liked. And actually the app has changed name and it's a bit different now, but I found this beautiful app that was like binaural beats and guided meditations. And that was like a whole new world for me. I also was able to really process things, see things, because they were guided and they were guided by meditation teachers. So I was able to shift through things specifically better. And I just then really fell in love with my meditation. And that's pretty much where I started to be really consistent and doing it almost daily to deal with life, to be honest, and to deal with all of my emotions. And I definitely at the time, and honestly, even still to this day, I'm not great with sharing my emotions. I would rather sit in meditation and journal, and then I can talk about it from this balanced, clear seeing, knowing, rather than coming from a dysregulated nervous system. So, yeah, I got into the apps, really loved that app, but then it changed. So then I found Insight Timer, which I still use today, which I really like, but I'm definitely now more into the Vedic meditation, which I am super new to, but I'm loving. And I do that now twice a day. So from 9 till now, I'm 32. I've done a few courses. I'm, a yoga teacher now. I've done meditation courses, books, all of the things. And it has really instilled in me in how important it is for me personally to meditate, to deal with life. And as I go through with my clients as well, it's just becoming so obvious to me that meditation heals so much than even a therapy session can do. And I'm not saying replace your therapy with meditation. I'm saying how it's a great tool to use. And even if you are feeling good and you're feeling happy, you still meditate, and it just brings so much more to your life than basically any other tool that I've used. So that is my story of how I found meditation and how I meditated for however many years without even having any proper instruction, knowing, learnings, teachings. I literally just went and did it, to then now being taught, learning, reading the books, doing all the things. So I wanted to share this because I just wanted to share that, because people often go, where do I start? What do I do? How am I doing it? Am I doing it wrong? And the thing is, there's no right or wrong way. Like, I had how many years? I had 17 years of practicing meditation with no guidance, no class, no teachings. 17 years of literally just my own intuition leading me and feeling amazing doing that. It just means you can do it. You can do it today, and it's perfect. And keep doing it for the next 17 years, and you're going to benefit. There's literally no negative output from meditating. You're only going to benefit. So there's no right way, wrong way. You just meditate, and that is perfect. I think that's really cool to mention, because I think a lot of people, they'll start with an app and then they'll think they're doing it wrong, and then they'll stop because they think they're doing it wrong. But the magic of meditation, like, of course you have those sessions where you feel amazing after and you get the answers and you get the alignment and you get the joy. Of course that can happen in your session, but I believe the magic of meditation happens after like a month of practicing, or even a week, 2 weeks. Like, I have clients that are like, wow, like after a couple of days of meditating, they're like, I feel amazing. Like, and they will just stick to it because they're like, wow, this is amazing. Yeah. So you just have to start, and whatever feels best to you is the right way. So I wrote down a few things that I wanted to say about the actual how to meditate, because I know there's people out there that want answers and they're not meditating because they don't know how to. So this is how, right? And like I said, you can literally just sit in silence, and that is enough, because that's what I did for 17 years. And that is wild to me. I've actually never calculated that. So you will be fine. But here are some actual things that we can do to make our meditation a little bit better. So the first thing is, choose the type of meditation that you want to do. There's actually quite a few different ways to meditate, but today I'm only going to suggest either silent meditation or a guided meditation. Where that guided meditation comes from, it doesn't matter. Let your intuition guide you there, whether it's an app you're using, something else you want to download. Maybe you want to download Insight Timer. Maybe you want to go to my website and get my guided meditation. Maybe you want to do some work together, get some meditations, or you can join Learn to Meditate when it launches in August and do those meditations. Either one, silence, guided. Is one better than the other? No. If you're starting out, do whatever you want to do. If you can't do silence but you want to do music, add music in. Make sure it's music that doesn't have words, isn't familiar sounds, like a song without words. Make it like, flutes, those types of things, handpan, binaural beats, Phrygia frequencies, those types of things. Choose silence or guided. It doesn't matter. Both are perfect. You're going to evolve through both equally. The other thing is to sit for about 10 minutes. Whether that's a 10-minute guided meditation or 10-minute silence, it doesn't matter. 10 minutes is such a great amount of time to meditate for. If you don't have time for 10 minutes, do what you have time for. 3-minute meditation is better than nothing. I've always said that. I've always practiced it. I've always felt better after a 3-minute meditation versus not at all. So if you've got time for 3 minutes, do that. If you have 5 minutes, do that. If you have 10, amazing. Now, I personally believe the magic number is 20 minutes. Now, what happens for 20 minutes is you go through a bit of a process. So the first sort of, couple of minutes, you're not really settled in yet. Especially if you're new to meditation, it takes you a little bit to figure out how you're sitting and if you're comfortable and where your mind's at, and then your breath, and then you feel like your breath is a bit jagged, and then you can't focus on your breath, and then you're thinking about what you had for lunch yesterday and what you're going to do at work today. And those first couple of minutes are not very grounded. So if you are doing 3 minutes, you have to hone in there and just focus on your breath or the guided meditation. Then what happens is you get into your state of meditation and you're doing the thing and you're sitting in it, thoughts come up, you bring your attention back, move in and out. Now that happens for a really good amount of time. What happens after 10 minutes, I think, is really beneficial. This is where the real surrendering, the real releasing happens, because you've gotten past the point of moving in and out of thoughts and everything, where at the end, I just truly believe that's where the magic happens of the real processing and digesting. It doesn't mean that it doesn't happen within 10 minutes, but for me personally and as a teacher, 20 minutes is super powerful. And that's probably where my emotions really started processing quite well, because I could really sit in it. A lot of people don't want to sit in stillness with their emotions because they're afraid of what will come up. But it's way easier than what you think it's going to be, because you're way stronger than what you think, and you're way more capable, and your body is so powerful at helping you move through those things. So 20 minutes is amazing, but if you're new, don't aim for 20. It's too long. Start with 3, 5, 10 minutes and work your way up from there. Because if you are going from doing no meditation to thinking you need to meditate for 20 minutes every single day, it will probably seem like a lot of your time, and you will make excuses not to go do it. So start with something smaller. Now, the thoughts that come up, lots of people think they shouldn't be there. They are meant to be there. When thoughts are coming up, it just means you're processing things. It just means that you're pondering, you're digesting, accepting, moving through, finding answers. For me, thoughts are part of meditation. Now, what happens though is you start having your thought and you go off on your little thought tangent, and you're chatting to yourself in your mind. When you realize that you're having the thought, just bring your attention to that. Just go, oh, I'm having a thought. Right, okay. And then bring your attention either back to your breath, back to your guided meditation, or if you're doing a silent meditation and you feel like you can't bring your attention back to your breath because it's feeling too forced or too jagged, or you just can't settle into it, focus on things like the space between your seat and your bottom. Focus on the space between your cheek and the wall beside you. Focus on those things. That's really beautiful to try and do because it really grabs your attention when you really start to think about your cheek and that wall and that space in between. It's pretty cool where the mind goes. So if you have thoughts in your meditation, perfect. That's what's meant to be there. Of course, you can have a whole 20 minutes of just focusing in on your breath. You're probably just going to feel super relaxed after that. And of course, you're still going to process things as well. After your meditation, and this is something that some of the apps do, and it's something that the Vedic meditation teaches, is after your meditation, when either your timer goes off or you open your eyes and you see 20 minutes has gone past, then just sit there for a moment. Vedic meditation teaches 2 minutes, but you just want to sit there for a moment before forcing your body and your mind back into life. So, for example, if you're doing a quick meditation in your car before you head into work and you're doing a 3-minute meditation, do your 3-minute meditation. And then once you have done that and your timer has gone off, either just sit there with your eyes closed just to kind of come in back into the space, back into the world, taking a couple of deep breaths and then open your eyes, rather than open your eyes and then come back to all the stimulus. And same as if you're at home, like if you have kids and you're meditating, just wait like 30 seconds to 60 seconds before you then open the door to go back out. Just take a moment to yourself to, check in with your nervous system, ask yourself what's needed. If you need to do a little journal, write some things down. So then you can come back into your world with still a regulated nervous system rather than shocking it and then coming back straight away dysregulated. So take just a couple of minutes, couple of moments before you come back into your world once your meditation is done. Now, as for positioning, people say, do I need to be seated? Like I can't cross my legs, or can I just sit on the seat? Yes. Honestly, as long as your spine is straight, that is perfect. Seated is ideal because we want our bottom of our spine to be sat down on the ground and the crown of our head pointing towards the sky. This is just how we get the most benefit, and that's something that you can learn in my Learn to Meditate course. But you want to have a straight spine. And this is one, so your breath moves through you, but two, also so your chakras are aligned and your energies are able to balance and you're able to move the stagnant energy out of those stuck places. So you can either be sat on the ground, sit on a seat like this, sit on the bed, sit on the couch, sit in the car. It honestly does not matter where you are. If you want to make an altar, make an altar. You don't have to. And if you want to lay down, just make sure you're not going to fall asleep. So if you're feeling really tired, the idea is do your meditation seated, and then if you need an afternoon nap or if you're then going to go to bed, then lay down and go to sleep. But the idea is to do your meditation sat up. But I understand if it feels more relaxing for your body to lay down and you're going to stay awake through the whole meditation, then lie down. That's perfectly fine. When to meditate? So people always ask, do I need to meditate in the morning before the sun rises, blah, 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 all these things. No, you just meditate whenever you can. It does not matter. When I was working FIFO and I'd be starting, like I remember on the rig, I would start at like 5 o'clock, I think it was. So, and I used to work always in the offshore and in mining. I was always doing a split shift because you want morning classes, but you also want the evening classes. So I'd have midday for like rest. So I'd be going to bed at 8 p.m. and needing to be at work for 5 a.m. And I would set my alarm for enough time to get ready, but I wasn't doing a 20-minute meditation before work while I finished work at 8 and still had to go have dinner and do all the things. I was literally, mostly I would do a 3-minute or a 10-minute. If I had 10 minutes and I'd woken up a little bit earlier, especially at the beginning of my shift where I still had a bit of energy to get up early enough, but I would be doing 3 minutes. I would be doing some pranayama and 3 minutes of silence, or just 3 minutes of pranayama. And that was perfect. And then in the afternoons, I would usually do a second meditation where I would do at least 10 minutes to 20 minutes to just help me survive out there and just to get through life, and just to make sure everything was well taken care of. So if you only have 3 minutes in the morning, do 3 minutes in the morning. If you don't have 3 minutes in the morning and you're a night owl and you'd rather just get up, go to work, whatever, maybe just take 3 deep breaths when you wake up and sit up in bed. And then in the evenings, then do your meditation. The idea of meditating in the morning is definitely what is kind of like the best optimal way to meditate is in the morning, is because your mind hasn't been places yet. Your body hasn't been places yet. Hopefully it's still quiet. There's not too much going on. And there's also a lot of like Ayurvedic science around it as well, but we won't get into that today. But the Vedas and all of that, they believe meditating at a certain time in the morning is best, and also in the evening. And we can either practice in the afternoon when we start to get a bit tired or a bit, worn out. When you're reaching for your coffee in the afternoon, that's the perfect time to meditate, or in the evenings just before bed. And that's just because then you've had your day, you can sit and process, release, accept, surrender to your day there in your evening meditation. So choose whenever honestly best fits you. It does not matter. You're going to benefit either way. Whether you do a morning, midday, afternoon, evening, whatever, you're going to benefit. But the idea is we do a morning meditation and an evening meditation. But choose one or the other. If you're just beginning, choose one or the other. Another thing about meditation is people say I can't sit for that long because of my back or my shoulders or my knees or my hips or whatever. You sit however is best comfortable for you. If you can sit unsupported for 20 minutes, amazing. If you're like me and you would like some back support, get yourself a cushion. I like to sit, my morning meditation is generally on my bed, and I put the pillows up on the bed head so it's nice and comfortable. Or I do it on the couch if Zach's still in bed, or if I don't want to do it in bed, I'll do it on the couch. Then other times I'll just do it on my yoga mat, or sometimes I'm in the car. Honestly, it happens in a lot of places, but mostly I'm on the bed because I can sink into the pillows rather than need to be sat up. So make sure your seat is comfortable and you're cozy. So like a jumper, a shawl, a rug, anything, because if you're sitting for 20 minutes, you're probably going to cool your body temp down. So you're probably going to want something nice and warm. Another thing that you can do is you can pop your journal beside you and you can journal after you meditate. This is just really good, especially if you're just starting out, or if you've got a lot to process at the moment, you're going through sometimes that are just a bit more on your nervous system. Journaling after is just another way to process undigested, unprocessed life experiences. You're just able to process, see things clearly, accept more, surrender more, move through, shift out of these emotional states, and make sure we always come back to a regulated nervous system. So pop your journal beside you, so then when you do meditate and you come out of that sort of moment of just before you open your eyes, then you can come to your journal and you can ask yourself what you need. You can ask yourself what you need to do to feel more aligned today. You can ask yourself what came up in your meditation and go from there. You can go lots of places in the journal. So that is how you meditate. It can be as simple as you want it. And if this has ignited your interest, and if you want to create a consistent meditation practice, come and join Learn to Meditate. Just send me an Instagram message at teagsley.com, the word .com, and let me know that you want to join it, so then I can add you to the waitlist and I will message you, so then you get the early bird price and you get a spot in the course as well. And in the course, it'll just be like this, but deeper. There's more things and you have the ability to ask me questions, and there's so much to come. So stay posted. Now let's dive into a guided meditation. So If you're doing this right away, get comfortable. If you're coming back to this, just make sure you set your space up, get really comfortable. This is not going to be a 20-minute meditation. It's just going to be about 10 minutes, and we are just going to practice meditation. That's all it is. You're just going to get a glimpse of what it's like to meditate with me, and you're just going to get a glimpse at how good it feels. Maybe actually things will come up for you. That's okay. Message me if it does. And it's just one way to meditate. So get really comfortable. Close down the eyes if you haven't already, and just get all your wiggles out. Get everything out that needs to be wiggled. Fix your hair, clothes, make sure everything's where it needs to be, whether you need to come and sit differently, fix the pillow, grab a quick jumper, rug. And just allow the eyes to sink a little bit heavier. And just notice how your body feels right now. Just doing a little audit from head to toe. Just noticing how the head feels, jaw, shoulders, back, stomach, hips, legs, feet, hands. Just checking in with how the body's feeling, not attaching anything, not getting carried away on a thought here just yet. Now we're going to start just from the head, and we're just going to allow each part of the body to relax. So just feeling the top of the head where the skin is and the hair. Just allowing that space to relax. Bringing that down into the forehead, ears, back of the neck. Just feeling the skin relax. Coming into the eyes, letting the eyes sink nice and heavy. Cheeks relax. Unclenching the jaw, allowing the jaw to relax nice and heavy. Releasing the tongue from the top of the mouth. And bring that relaxation all the way down the neck to the front of the chest. Just allow the chest to move a little bit further away from the chin. Shoulders a little bit further away from the ears. Just noticing that feeling wrapping around to your upper back and sending that relaxation down through your organs, down your spine, down into your belly. Just pausing here for a moment just to take a nice long exhale. Deep breath in, feeling the belly. And then on the exhale, just relaxing a little bit more. Allow the belly to expand, relax. Bringing that down to the hips, the bottom, thighs, down into your knees. Down into the bottoms of your leg, just noticing the muscles relax, skin relax. All the way down into the feet, tops of the feet, big toe, second toe, middle toe, fourth toe, and your little toe. Relaxing all of the toes. And the hands are the same, relaxing the tops of the hands, forearms, elbows, upper arm. Palms are heavy, fingers relaxed. Just bring your attention to your breath, just noticing how your breath is feeling. Does it feel relaxed? Or is it still feeling a little bit jagged? That's okay. Bring your attention to where your seat is touching your bottom. Just focus on the space between your bottom and the seat. And then focus on the air that's above your thighs, that space above the thighs. And then imagining just above the crown of your head, just imagining a white ball of light. It's swirling, shining above your head. And just see this ball of light grow slightly, a little bit bigger, swirling, shining, growing. Now on your next inhale, open the crown of the head and breathe in the white light, sending it down through the crown, down into your heart center. Hold the breath there for just a moment, allowing the white light to swirl within your heart center. And then exhale, send that white light through the body, down the arms, chest, belly, legs, down to the feet. Good. Inhale, come back to where the white ball of light is floating above the head. And just seeing it still growing, shining, swirling. Then on your next inhale, open the crown of the head and send a little bit more of that white light through the crown of the head, down the part of the spine and into the heart center. Hold the breath there for a moment while you see the light swirl around the heart. Then exhale, send that white light down into your cells, into the crevices and corners of your body. Seeing it swirl down to your hips, little finger, knees, big toe. Just seeing it now swirl within the body. And just focus here for a moment. Just allow that white light to move within your body. Now on your exhale, open the bottoms of your feet and send that white light through the ground, all the way into the dirt of the earth, sending it all the way down into the center, where it's warm, into the center of the earth. Inhale, and then again, exhale, open the bottoms of the feet and just send the rest of that light out. And just sit in this moment. Just noticing. Just allowing. Now just bring your attention to what you need right now. And then just take a nice deep breath in. Exhale out. 2 more like this. Deep breath in. Exhale out. Last one, deep breath in. And then on the exhale, we're going to sigh it out. Now take a moment to just sit here and just reflect, just to be. And then you can just lightly open your eyes and come back into your space. I would love so much if you let me know how you're feeling after this meditation in the comments, whether you're on Spotify or on YouTube. Leave a comment and let me know how the meditation felt for you. And I'm going to leave you here. But like I said, Learn to Meditate is coming soon. So if you are wanting to really deepen your practice, create a consistent practice, and to really just transcend any stuck emotions, come and join Learn to Meditate. If you're feeling cold, just reach out. It's going to be such an amazing 6 weeks together, and it's going to be beautiful. Honestly, it's going to be one of the best things you can do in your meditation journey. If you are feeling cold, reach out. And it's going to be 6 weeks, one call a week, and there's so many things amongst all of that. Basically, you're just going to learn how limitless you are and how powerful your mind is. So I'm going to leave you there. Until next week, enjoy your life, do the things that make your heart happy, and shine in your authenticity. Bye.